So in 2010, I get a visit by two ladies who come in and said that they would like to talk to me about starting a food bank in Citrus County and would like me to be on the initial board. I said, do we have a food problem in Citrus County? And they said, absolutely. We'd like to show you how this works. So I go, and Nancy and I get in our car, we drive down, and we get on Fishbowl Drive, and it looked like the movie Field of Dreams. All I saw was headlights for, it seemed like miles. The car would pull up, the trunk would open, a volunteer would come with a box that's all made, put it in the back, shut the trunk, and the next car would come in line. So as we're driving around, I noticed a lot of my subcontractors. And I told Nancy, I said, that's one of my electricians. That's one of my plumbers. Not the head guys, but they're workers. That's one of my framers. I never knew we had a need. Lived in the county for since '75, and all these years I thought we had a great county, that there wasn't this kind of need, that it was in Tampa, it was in Miami, maybe Orlando. Never knew it was our next door neighbors, and that opened my eyes.
But our neighbors did have a need, and eventually buildings were built, empty shelves stocked, and the community food bank was born. And it grew quickly to serving 5 million pounds of food every year. That's 70,000 people a month in need of food assistance. Which might make you wonder, who is the typical person that utilizes food bank services? It might come to a surprise to some, but the majority of people that visit food banks have a home and a job. Contrary to common misconceptions, the community food bank does not exist to be an everlasting source of handouts. Instead, it's about offering a hand up. You see, the community food bank's assistance is not just about providing meals. It's about offering hope and new beginnings. While we do address immediate needs, we also serve as a stepping stone for individuals to rebuild their lives and regain stability. Think about it. When someone finds themselves in a moment of crisis and unsure of where their next meal will come from, the Community Food Bank offers assistance through over 60 partner agencies. These organizations work tirelessly to provide emergency food assistance to those facing hunger, whether it's a family struggling to put food on the table or senior on a fixed income and unable to keep up with the rising cost of living. We are there to lend a helping hand. With the family's next meal taken care of, they can now focus on rent, utilities, and medical expenses. Or we connect them with our partner support services for job training, housing assistance, mental health counseling, and other social services. And that is what a hand up looks like. And this is what the face of hunger looks like.
I'm Amy Amdahl, and I am the owner-operator of Peddler's Post, Central Florida's most fun community paper.
Yep, that's Amy, owner of Peddler's Post, a growing publication that's distributed throughout Citrus, Hernando, Sumter, and Pasco counties. But much like many of our clients, Amy too once needed a hand up.
I grew up in very impoverished conditions in Tampa as a child. My mom struggled with addiction problems and mental health issues. So we visited food pantries and food banks a lot growing up. It was just a normal part of our life. And then as an adult, I went to food banks also because I had found myself in a domestic violence situation, and I chose homelessness over staying in that situation. We just didn't have anything. It was a choice at that point to either stay there and hope that he didn't kill me in front of my daughters, or to leave and find a better tomorrow. And at that point, it was better to just give up that life and hope for something new, because being in a shelter and having absolutely nothing and starting from scratch and building yourself up while having two young daughters in tow was quite difficult. And food banks were there to stand in the gaps for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about what the Community Food Bank does for the communities, because without them, I don't know if I would have been able to feed my daughters something.
Next stop, one of our 60-plus partner agencies. It's Daystar Life Center, thrift store, food pantry, social services, and of course, breakfast every Friday morning.
you don't have a kitchen, on Fridays you can come here and, you know, have your hot meal. And being Italian, you know, we have the catering background. It was really important to have a long table because that's what we grew up with. And on Sundays, that was my greatest memories, is having this long family table. So we're creating community and with respect. And as you can see, we're changing their lives. And you think, oh, well, you're only doing this on Fridays, but we do these wraparound services. Wraparound services is where we provide you with your ID. We have Career Source here doing resumes. We have a gentleman that's out looking for people who will hire people that have been unhoused, may have a felony, may have some trouble with the law in the past, but they need it because it's a downward spiral. Once they get down, they can't get back up. And we're just taking them by their hand and pulling them back up. You know, our main thing is our ALICE population, which is one paycheck away from being homeless. People that are single parents that are just struggling. And what we do with that is I'll walk you through our pantry. They go to social services to see if they qualify. They get a clothing voucher and they get a food voucher. They go into our regular groceries into the pantry and they get regular bags and bags of groceries and fresh produce. And then they have a clothing shed, just like you saw me this morning with the man that his shoes were broken. And they just go in there and each member of your family gets 3 bags of clothing. We see a lot of people that are elderly that are living in their vehicles because the rent has gone up so high and they can't make ends meet anymore. We have one gentleman said, we were fine, my wife passed away, her social security was gone, and now they're sleeping inside their car, and it's like, this is the only hot meal they get. But this is just a little hand up just to help them until we can get them where they need to be. Without our food bank, none of this could be possible, and we appreciate it so much.
My name is Barbara Sprague, and I am the CEO of the Community Food Bank, but I am also the face of hunger. Several years ago, when I was working for another nonprofit organization, I was killing it. They had created a position for me, we were changing the world, and then my job was terminated. We lost grant funding, and I was faced with rent, a new car payment, feeding my 2 dogs, myself, and I had nowhere to turn. And I thought, I cannot believe I have to go find help, and I had to go find food. So the next morning I got up and I drove my shiny car into the parking lot at the food pantry, and I kind of took a survey of everyone that was there, and I thought, I look like an idiot. But I gotta go in. And I walked in the door, and they were the nicest people. They were so welcoming, and they just wanted to immediately give me a hug and take me around to every table and find things that I needed. And I can remember this lovely little lady came over to me, and she put her hand on my arm and she said, "Honey, why are you here?" And I told her that I had recently lost my job, and I had already been living paycheck to paycheck, so it was getting really tight, and unfortunately I found myself needing help. And she just looked at me and she said, "You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be absolutely fine, and we're here to help in the meantime. So let's get you what you need." They sent me away with lovely groceries, and they lasted me a couple of weeks, and I was very fortunate and never had to go back. It filled that gap that I needed until the job offer came through and I was on my way to the next adventure. But just reaching out in kindness at a time when I needed it the most was just the perfect circumstance for somebody that was in crisis. And that has proved to me time and again that everyone is just one crisis away from needing help, from needing support, from needing a meal, needing a rehab facility, needing a prayer, needing a friend.
All the people that gave to me and gave to my children when we didn't have it, I just wanted to be like them. So as soon as I was able and I got myself out of the situation, I turned around and I started helping. And You know, philanthropy is not just for the people receiving, it's also for the people giving. It gives me a better connection with the community that I serve. It shows me the heart of our community, the soul of our community, and that's what I feel like the Community Food Bank does, is it feeds the soul of our community. You know, the feeding a body is one thing, but when you feed a soul and you nourish hope, that's just powerful. And I love being part of it. It's just great.
I've seen so many people bounce back from just a destitute situation and become phenomenal. And sometimes it just takes a meal, a hug, a friend. Whatever it is, we need to be there to provide it for them.
Because of your kindness, generosity, and support, more than 70,000 individuals throughout our local communities will receive the hand up they need to get back on their feet. Because of you, we are able to humbly continue serving up hope.